finding his man. Heal him up. Ari will toss him forward. The Magneto's going. They get the trade.
Beautiful rebound on three, and Ari destroying them on the back line. And he's just going to die as well. Double kill for Ari.
My name is Ari, and I come from a small city in the southwest of England, Exeter. Playing computer games professionally is what I do. This is my story. From the age of like 4 or 5, I was actually quite interested in maths and reading.
When he was in primary school, he always got like all the awards for the best in class and the best in the year for maths and various things like that. So academically, he was very strong. So he started school at 3 years old. When they tried to teach him in primary school like techniques to solve maths problems, and they used to do tests and so on, and he'd get told off that he didn't show his workings. And he's like, why do I need to do that? Because I know the answer's that. I can just look at it and see. So he'd just write the answer down.
So I had like a really good education, good grades, like a promising clear path, like normal job. It was for a while my passion, but at some point it stopped being like my dream, my passion. So while I had this really stable, nice option, my dream was to be this pro gamer. This was what I enjoyed the most in life. It's what I got the most fulfillment out of.
Ever since he was a very young child, he's always liked games, like board games and things that are like more strategic, where he's got to use his brain and think about the best way of doing something. So he never wanted to play games where it was just luck involved. So it was like you roll a dice and you might get there first or you might not, that you wouldn't be interested in that. He'd get more joy out of winning if he'd sort of worked out a good way of winning, a different way of winning himself, rather than, you know, just luck or whatever.
So from like age 1 to age 12 was like quite stable, normal growing up. But then there was like a divorce, so we moved house and my mum got a new partner and we lived somewhere else for 6 years. At the end of like the 6-year period between like 12 and 17 or 18, my mum and her partner had been arguing for a couple of weeks. And then on one night in particular, they came home from a night out or something, and I was just in my room, like playing a game, and then at some point I hear like glass smashing and the yelling gets a bit like extreme, and I take my headphones off and I'm like, oh shit, like this is getting like really serious. And I don't know what to do about it. Like I feel helpless. I'm just like some kid in my room trapped. I either have to go there and do something myself, or I sit here and just listen and like be quiet. But then I hear my mum already threaten her partner, saying like, she's already called the police, like you need to leave. This is too much, you need to leave. And then after like half an hour of this, the police came and he had to run away. And then we never saw him again after that day. It ended up being the right choice because nothing too bad ended up happening, but definitely was the hardest thing I faced in my life. But I think due to my like desire to learn and improve at things, it really applies to every part of my life. And I see every challenge, even in real life, as like, I want to deal with this challenge better. I want to learn how to improve from this challenge. Like, okay, yes, I'm depressed because my parents split up. Okay, that's one thing. And now I'm thinking, okay, how can I, going forwards, deal with this kind of thing better? these are the things I'm thinking about even from a fairly young age. And then it results in me like learning a lot from every bad experience I had, and I kind of improve my approach in future, and I kind of manage my emotions better. So all of these like kind of dark moments that at first are quite painful, I feel like are very beneficial for me building my character and going forward. I try to take the most out of them. Before that point, me and my mum were never like that close.
And I think he became more protective of me, and we got an opportunity to spend a lot of time together.
The following year, it was like just us for the first time in like forever.
He started helping me out in the kitchen, and we started to get these HelloFresh meals.
She had me as head chef, so I would delegate her jobs to do. So I would tell her to chop the vegetables and I would take care of the saucepan.
He generally seemed to have me doing all the chopping up, being the sous chef, and he's doing all the actual sort of, cooking on the hob and everything.
And I think this year really brought us like a lot closer together, because we kind of had the mentality that like, even if everyone else in our life ends up like leaving or doing something crazy, like we always have each other, and it's like, it's just us against the world kind of thing. We kind of built a really nice relationship where we're really close and we're like fully like trusting each other and relying on each other. That was definitely like the worst part of my life, but it resulted in like a really nice, happy relationship with my mom.
A lot of his friends at school, their parents put restrictions on screen time where they could only spend an hour a day or 2 hours a day. And I was probably always quite relaxed about that. So as long as he'd done his homework, then he could play his computers.
There was this new game coming out in like 2014 called Heroes of the Storm. I ended up like really high on the leaderboard and eventually got to rank 1. And then it was kind of like a signal to me that I could make something out of this. Like I actually have the ability to make a career, potentially make money and make a living off of like playing games well. And then after like a few months of being rank 1, I got quite well known, and for the upcoming season, teams were asking me if I want to play and try out for their team in the pro scene. I was like 15 at this time. And then one day I come home and I tell my mum, like, I want to quit school. I'm getting a job offer to be a pro gamer. Like, I want to quit school.
He stood there looking really serious. He looked at me and said, I need to talk to you. I thought, what's happened? So I thought something really bad had happened. And he said, I've decided to give up school. So I don't want you to overreact. I've been thinking about it really carefully, but I've decided to give up school. And I was like, can I ask why? What is it you're going to be doing? And he said, I'm going to be a professional gamer. I was like, no, absolutely not. That is not happening.
You can't do this, you can't do this. And I was like really upset, probably crying in my room at that time.
And he was adamant. He wasn't listening to any of it.
And I was just like, I know, but it's what I want to do, so I will do it. So we kind of agreed that once I was 18, then I could take a year off of school and really commit to trying to be a pro player.
And if he got into a team, then great. And if he didn't, he would either have to get a job or go to university.
He's been really good at different mobile games. It requires you to be very motivated and to be enjoying what you're doing, to have a lot of fun with what you're doing. He has a mind that likes to wander. So I think a lot of people look at that and are very curious and excited about, this guy for those reasons, that he's a quick learner, he is motivated. And it's inspiring to be around,
Start of 2019, I started playing Dota. I was choosing between League and Dota at the time as the two main options. I wanted the most difficult game I could find, basically, and just really challenge myself. And I felt like that was Dota, so I chose it. And after 2 years or 3 years of playing on and off casually while I'm in school, I got to rank 2000 Immortal maybe. And then that was the point where I had the chance to take a year off of school and try to be a pro player. So I basically had a year to go from rank 2000 nobody to, let's say, top 100 pro player contender. And about halfway into that year, I was really close to giving up. I was I got to rank 1000 and it was really hard and I wasn't making that much progress. I was like, I don't know, I can't do this. I'll just go do psychology in university like I originally planned. And then I spoke to my friend who was like one of the guys who came with me to Dota from HOTS. And he was like, no man, like I really believe in you. Like you can do this. I know you're the best, like you will do it. And I was like, okay, I'll try. I'll keep trying. Like if you believe in me that much, I'll try. 3 months later, it was like magic. I was like rank 300 carry player at the time. I dropped to like 700 learning the new role, and then shot up really fast to like top 100 in Possible. Funny eyes in this picture. My gran is definitely not what you'd expect from like a typical grandma. She's pretty young for a start. She's like 65-ish. She's very, very lively. She loves Dota or just anything I do really. She's like super supportive. She wants to be involved. She wants to watch every game, learn how the game works.
Hi there, I'm Ari's granny.
I think she's watched at least 99% of games I've ever played in the pro scene, all the way from ITB. She'll stay up all night watching the American TSM games, like anything. She'll be there watching it.
Doesn't matter what country it's in, what time of the night the games are being played, she'll be watching them, she'll be on Twitch and everything else. And bear in mind, she's a granny, she's got like Discord and everything. She goes in like the OG fan chat and seeing what they're all saying.
Just on our calendar, it's Dota this, Dota that, and Dream League, and every single match and the times and the teams that he's playing up against. It's like somebody obsessed with the game.
I said, I need to see the screen bigger. I wanted it really big. And then my husband said, I've got the perfect TV for you. And it was 85 inches. So, and it's in our bedroom.
Cosmetic on. So he doesn't have the tape on, but he has the
So, I suppose that means we've got to have a Chinese tonight.
Like it might have to be because I'm running late.
You can tell.
I've not time to cook now.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna have to starve. I think I might have to eat those peanuts.
But I'm all right.
I'll watch a bit of it, but not all the way through like Granny does.
He does have a tendency to go to sleep very, very early. 8 o'clock is probably the latest he can sit up.
I said, can you turn it down a bit? No. And then I'll fall asleep and I'll start snoring.
And I try and nudge him and I say, shh, 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 like this. And then if anything happens good or they get into the roach and they get the roach, I go, yes, like that. And he jumps out of his skin.
And then she kicked me out. So, oh God. So off I go into the spare room. But then, come about 4 o'clock in the morning, she'll come in and say, he's won. And you just think, oh, God.
OG as an org is very player focused. Everything that's done is what the players want to happen. Like if a player has changed, for example, it's because the players all agreed to. It's not the org saying, we want this guy or we want this guy for our brand association or something.
I believe OG's strength is really focused and always trying to achieve, a level of support and entertainment and everything that an org is supposed to do.
Of course, we have just as much skill as the rest of the best teams. No one ever gets like too tilted or too frustrated or too distrustful of another teammate. Everyone is very supported that you encourage each other and empower each other and are positive about the experiences you have, whether they're good or bad. So I feel like these kinds of things really set you up for building a good long-term success and a good system so that you have consistency and reliability.
It's a home for people to focus on their competitive sides, There's not a lot of ask, there's not a lot of demand. We try and work really smart with how to please everybody, sponsors, fans and everything, but giving the players as much time and space as they can. This is why I think makes us stand out.
Now with OG, he seems much happier. I think he feels like this team sort of works really well together. They listen to his ideas and he's really excited about it.
It was definitely a good decision. He's enjoying his career and what he's doing. I think because we're from an older generation and we didn't really understand it that much. And probably a lot of parents go through the same thing and the families think, oh, are they right to be doing this? But it's definitely worked out well for him.
He has no regrets, then he made the right choice, you know, that's all. If it's Dota, if it's academics, if it's something different, it could be completely unrelated. And the right choice is always what makes you happy.
Following my dream was the right decision to make. But for those around me, of course, it's harder for them to see that. But of course, I'm very happy that I went through with it and committed. And now I'm like, I love what I do. It's amazing. It's like the best job in the world to have, in my opinion. So I'm very happy with my choice.
Fantastic series. It was so fun making you do.
In 10 years, I guess I may have retired by that point, so...
I could see him being one of the presenters or something along that line in his future, because he's very confident when you watch him. He's really confident when he comes across, when they do interviews.
He's got a will to succeed, and he's not going to stop playing games, no matter what, you just know.
At this point, it's all you think about, and for the last 5 years, it's all you think about. How can I be better at this game? How can I win tournaments? How can I enable my teammates? Like, it's all you think about. I never doubted that I could do it. It was just like, I want to do this, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it happen.